Hey guys, it's RodimusPrimal. I am back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some Transformers reveals that got revealed yesterday. I wasn't home, so I ended up putting up a community post about two of those figures, but then right after I put up that community post, there were some more Transformer reveals on top of that with some Dinobot action. I know it's going to get a lot of fans excited. In addition, there is a leak for a Transformers Armada large figure that could be coming down the pipeline that I think a lot of fans are going to be excited, and I'm going to be talking about that too. So without further ado, let's sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. So before I get started, I want to thank each and every one of you who have been watching my videos. I am so close to reaching 100,000 subscribers, and I can't begin to express my gratitude for all of you who have been watching the channel for all of these years. And I'm going to be having a new retrospective for the character of Thundercracker. I know a lot of people have been waiting and anticipating what my next Transformers retrospective is going to be on, and that's who it's going to be. And I'll have that video out very, very, very soon, so you can expect that as well. But also, if you want to help support the channel, you can also on Patreon, either that or become a channel member. And on top of that, I also have merchandise. You can get a t-shirt or a mug or anything like that through my merchandise store, and it helps support the channel because, let's face it, not only are action figures expensive, everything else is expensive, and it helps keep the lights on here. So let's get right into the Transformers news. Okay, so the first two figures I want to talk to you guys today about were the reveals from yesterday, and that is Leader Class Studio Series 86 Snarl and Core Class Ironhide. Of course, they're put right next to each other, and they're not exactly the same size. We already knew Ironhide was coming since they already did Ratchet and Core Class, and then we also know that they're going to end up doing that in reverse for the Voyager Class figure. Since they did Ironhide. Ironhide's a great figure. I'm very, very happy about that figure. In fact, I actually want to do a review on him soon. But the Core Class figures, I know a lot of people have been collecting, so having Ironhide is great. And having Snarl is great too because, well, you got to complete your Dinobot team. In fact, Hasbro said that they wanted to ensure that they completed teams. If they're going to do one character in a team, they'll eventually do all of the characters in that team over the course of time that it takes to get them out. It's just they can't put them all in the same wave like they used to, like they did with the Prime Wars trilogy, and then of course in years past when, you know, when the Stunticons first came out, you'd be able to collect all 5 Stunticons. Well, taking a closer look at Snarl in robot mode, coming with that sword is fantastic because if you watch the original cartoon, you know that he didn't use the blaster that he came with the toy. Instead, he used the sword, and he basically was, you know, opening fire with it. So him having a sword is great, and I'm sure you're going to see some third-party folks end up making, you know, not only the fill kits, but also the, you know, an extra blaster for him to go along with it. And, you know, for those of you who don't think that Snarl was present in Transformers the movie, actually, yes, he was present in the movie. He was in 3 very short scenes. The packaging art on him looks great too, because this is actually the scene that he was in. He was kind of like recoiling because the sweeps were attacking. It was actually when Ultra Magnus was like, prepare to board the shuttles. You know, this new menace is a threat to the galaxy. And then Galvatron comes to Earth and, you know, with his new Decepticons, and they attack the Autobots as they're trying to get to the shuttles. And Snarl was present with the other Dinobots as well. He was also present on the Quintesson ship when the ship was starting to come down, about to land onto Junkion. You can see inside, you see Cup and Hot Rod and the Dinobots in robot mode. And the Dinobots in robot mode, one of them was Snarl. So he was present as well throughout the entirety of the movie. He just wasn't on camera. And I'm stressing that only because a lot of people say like, oh, Snarl wasn't in the movie. Snarl wasn't in the movie, but he's a great looking figure is in robot mode. Some people I saw some comments, people, you know, talking about the gold colored plastic. Like it's not, they don't use the same type of gold that they used to back in the day. So you shouldn't have to worry about like it's not that swirly plastic that they used to use and would, you know, degrade over time. Instead, this is a very different type of plastic. I think he looks fine. You know, just judging by these photos, In Dino mode, he looks good. It looks like he has opposable mouth, which is great for all the other Dinobots do. His legs look a little short for his Dino mode, and I think it's kind of like messing around with his tail. And that's unfortunate because in dinosaur mode, his tail was a major weapon, just like other Stegosauruses are, right? So a Stegosaurus, that's their main weapon, is their tail, with the spikes on the end. And this Snarl figure doesn't look like he has a really good posable tail. It seems to be the one thing that is lacking. And I'm going to be curious if maybe we might see a third-party tail get released just to rectify this issue, because the price of toys are going up, and they're going up at a rate in which not a lot of people are going to be able to keep up with it. Not, because inflation it's not just a corporate issue, where they're just raising prices. It's on the other end of the spectrum too, with inflation and, money getting put more into the money supply, and it's making figures less affordable for the everyday consumer. And, a figure like this, the budget for a leader class ends up getting cut. And, here he doesn't have as posable of a tail as I think that he should, because the Dinobots, you may want to put them on display in dinosaur mode. You may want to put them on display in robot mode. And for myself, I have Grimlock on the shelf, up above me here, and he's in dinosaur mode. I want to have the Dinobots in dinosaur mode because that's the way that they were in the third season. But they were in robot mode on the Ark, when during the first season of the cartoon, they would go into battle and turn into dinosaur mode. So it's really a matter of perspective there. As for Ironhide, it's exactly as I expected him to be. I'm not really impressed with the core class figures myself, not all of them anyway. And I've heard a lot of people really, really dig the core class Ratchet figure. So it's no surprise to see core class Ironhide, come with the 2 blasters just like the other one did. And he doesn't have the light bar on top, when he is in van mode. So, it works for the size class of the figure. It's not something I'm going to run out of my way to go get. And yes, Toy Hacks is going to have to really do work to make this figure as good as it should be. And the core class figures really work for what they are. Having a smaller figure that could either work with your Titan class figures like your Scorponok and your Fortress Maximuses and Omega Supreme figures, you can have the smaller figures to go around them, in order to get a proper scale figure. But yeah, whereas I want to get Thundercracker, Ironhide, I'm a little on the fence about. And speaking of core class figures, we also get to see the final 2 Dinobots for what is going to be Volcanicus for the core class Dinobot Combiner. What they've decided to do is they've made this Dinobot Combiner, it's Dino King. Let's be real here. This is Dino King. That's the reason why the dinosaurs are going to be set up the way that they are, because it's 6 Dinobots become, this, Dino King. What it actually was is in the original toy line in G1 was you had Monstructor, and that was the monster pretenders, and their pretender shells were like these weird looking monsters. And then the robot that came out of that combined to form this multicolored transformer called Monstructor. When they released it in Japan, it was more of a little bit of a unified color scheme. And the dinosaur the shells for the pretenders were dinosaurs. And they were called the Dino Force, and they merged to form Dino King. And knowing that it's an obscure character like that, I'm sure that in order to get the figure made to begin with, they had to say, hey, let's do Dinobots, and then we'll go back and do them as Dino King. So I think that's the reason why we're getting the figures that we are. We're probably going to see the Dino Force come down the pipeline. So just looking at Swoop, you can already see that the fists there match Monstructor or Dino King's fists. And that's the blasters that he's holding there in robot mode. And Swoop actually looks, I probably will say he looks the best out of all of the core class Dinobots that I've seen, because they have not impressed me. I'm not going to be, holding my punches here. It doesn't impress me that much. I know some people are like, yeah, I would love to have a smaller Dinobot combiner, and to me, I love the Dinobots being so big as they are, and so the core class just doesn't impress me that much. But we are getting a 6th Dinobot as part of this team named Scar, and he transforms into an Ankylosaurus. And looking at the packaging on him, he looks great. Now, for those of you who are unaware, Scar was in the backstory as a medic Dinobot that got killed, and he was part of the IDW comics. So it was a very small, little minor cameo. The dinosaur mode itself, it's serviceable. The dinosaur mode is okay. It works for the smaller scale, and the robot mode looks all right too, for what it is. We have not seen what the full combined mode looks like, and I think that they're doing that on purpose because these two figures, while they've been revealed, they have not officially said, well, here's what Volcanicus is going to look like when he's combined. They're probably waiting until the end of the month when they're going to do a bigger reveal, apparently, before these two figures get shown a little bit more in detail. But we also know that Shattered Glass is continuing. And for those of you who missed out on the leader class Grimlock, well, you got a chance to get Grimlock again, except he's not going to be in his G1 cartoon colors. He's going to be in Trypticon colors, because in Shattered Glass, Grimlock is colored like Trypticon. So you have the purple chest, you have the darker gray plastic, and, as far as what he looks like, for Shattered Glass, he looks awesome. I don't collect the Shattered Glass figures myself personally, but I think that a lot of people who are big into Shattered Glass are going to be like, oh yeah, definitely want this figure. He was a major player in part of the Shattered Glass SpotCon comics, if I remember correctly. And in dinosaur mode, he ripped apart, a few of the Decepticons. And the Decepticon in Shattered Glass, the Autobots are evil and the Decepticons are good. So that's the reason why it's called Shattered Glass. It's a mirror universe, and why their color schemes are a little bit different. So I think it's great to see, Grimlock get released this way. And I wouldn't be surprised if more Shattered Glass figures get revealed as well. Knowing that Grimlock is coming, I wouldn't be surprised to see a few others that I know a lot of people might be excited about. But one figure that has gotten a lot of people talking this morning, yes, Armada Optimus Prime. This is a leak from a Japanese site, probably because they intended to reveal this very, very soon, but because it's been kind of leaked and kind of talked about already for quite some time, we knew this was coming, right? And I gotta be frank with you, I'm very, very excited for Transformers Armada fans. I think Transformers Armada fans, to them, this was their introduction to Transformers. So now they get new action figures for their favorite versions of a character. Personally speaking, I would prefer to get a Power Master Optimus Prime, but maybe, just maybe, because if this figure is successful, maybe I'll get my wish. And that is, I think, is a good thing. This is one of those things where I'm happy when other Transformers fans get a new version of their favorite character. Whether it is in Legacy, or whether it is in Studio Series, or what have you, even if it's not something that I would run out of my way to collect. Personally speaking, I actually want to sell off my Transformers Unicron Trilogy collection, because I kind of went a little overboard back in the day when I bought those figures. And, I know a lot of people would be excited about it, because especially now that they're releasing new versions of Transformers Armada characters. And, the thing is that it's going to be missing part of the thing that made Transformers Armada. Because the whole thing about Transformers Armada was Pokemon. That was, I remember everybody complaining about that, was that in order for Transformers Armada figures to actually be usable, they had to use the Minicon gimmick. And the Minicon gimmick was where you had to plug in this smaller Micromaster size figure into your Transformer, and then the gimmick would unlock for you to be able to get an extra blaster or would unlock for something else. And that evolved into Transformers Cybertron eventually, where it was those Cyber Planet keys, and you didn't have to rely on a smaller figure. Instead, it was a small little plastic key. However, the way that they've been revealing figures nowadays is, let me actually show this to you. Take a look at this figure here, Transformers Armada Legacy Starscream, right? And everybody who has been a Transformers Armada fan has been going, how come he doesn't have his Minicon port? Well, he does have a 5mm port there on the back, and you can take one of the MicroMaster figures with a peg and stick it there on his back, just like that. And then, of course, that unlocked his whole, blasters. Without the need to do that, you could still play with this figure without issue. So having the gimmick missing is not as big of a deal as it would be otherwise. The only thing is that people want to have their Minicons. Even though that Minicons kind of clogged the toy shelves back in the day, and the only real Minicons that people wanted were the ones that came with the figure. And if you look at this particular photo right here, this is a closer look at the toy itself, and you can see it has a lot of 5mm ports. So if they release a spark plug for this Optimus Prime, you'll be able to get your Minicon with him. But it won't come with the figure. You'll have to buy it separately, of course. So I wouldn't be surprised if Hasbro will probably release like a 4-pack or a 2-pack that you have to buy separately of those Minicons. You'll have to get Sparkplug and Jolt. You'll have to get Swindle and Leader 1. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's how they do it, just so that fans can still get their favorite, Minicon partners to come with the figures that they didn't get to begin with. And it's not barred down by the gimmick. The biggest thing with this particular Optimus Prime figure back in the day was that you put a battery into it, and when you transformed the robot, the truck into the robot, the trailer would fold out into a base. And when you transformed it into super mode, the trailer itself would fold up into the lower half of the robot. It was a brick. It was a unplaywithable brick. Even the arms can only move up so far. And it was, I never cared for that toy. I really didn't. The coolest function out of that Optimus Prime toy was in a character that never had that capability on screen. And that was Armada Optimus Prime's toy. If you pressed on the top of his head, the faceplate went up and down. Why couldn't we get a G1 Optimus Prime that could do that? We got it out of Armada Optimus Prime. And in the anime, he never did that. The faceplate never went up and down. So I'm sure that function is not going to be available on this version of Prime either. But I would not be surprised if the Matrix is not, if the Matrix is in his chest and it's actually removable like it has been in other Optimus Prime toys in the past. I'd be pretty happy about that. And the super mode does look good. And I would not be surprised if we see Jetfire and Overload to give him his Jet Pants super shoulders, as some fans talked about this particular character. I know a lot of fans are big fans of Transformers Armada, and I want to stress again that I'm very, very happy to see this figure come out, even if it's not something that I'm running to the store to go get myself. But I'm eager to see official images of him. But because this has been, leaked online and everybody's talking about it, I figure I would like to see more Transformers fans get excited about a figure that allows the Unicron trilogy fans to know that, yes, you're part of the Transformers fandom too, even if many of us older fans prefer Generation 1. So, but I want to know what you guys think about all this Transformers news. Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I have many more Transformers videos coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned for all of that. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.